So let's look at these three examples. Again, what I'm going to model is probably the most common way to do subtraction. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. We have 946 subtract 352. Again, the most common way, we just focus with the ones, then we work out to the tens, and then the hundreds. But before we start subtracting, what we really want to do is make sure if there's any borrowing to be had, to go ahead and do the borrowing right now. So if I look, I do have enough ones to subtract here, but in the tens place, I don't have enough tens. So what we do is we can come to the hundreds place, we can borrow 100 from there. That's going to leave us with 800s. And when I bring the 100 over to the 10 spot, remember that's going to be 10 hundredths. And since there's 4 tens already there, I'm going to replace that now with 14 tens. So this now enables us to subtract each place value column. So 6 ones take away 2 ones is going to leave me with 4 ones. And then 14 tens take away 5 tens is going to be 9 tens. And then 8 hundredths take away 3 hundredths is going to leave me with 5 hundredths. So the result is 594. This next example, we're going to move out to the thousands place. So we have 3,504, and we're going to subtract, we're going to take away 1,379. So again, we want to start the ones place, but before we start subtracting, we want to go ahead and make sure all the borrowing has been done to start with. I'm already in trouble because I can't do the ones place. 4 ones, I can't take away the 9 ones. There's no tens to borrow from. So what I got to do is move out here to the hundreds place. So what I'm going to do is borrow 100 from there. So if I borrow 100 from there, that's going to make that 4 hundredths. And what I'm going to do is bring it over to the tens spot. And remember, 100 represents 10 tens. So I'm going to mark that out and put a 10 above it. So now I have 10 tens there. Now I can actually borrow from the 10 and move some things over to the ones place. So I can borrow a 10 from the tens place and make that 9 tens. And then I can move 10 ones over here to the ones place. Again, 110 is the same thing as 10 ones. So 10 ones plus the 4 ones is going to make then 14 ones. So that's my new problem. So that's how we kind of did, is we kind of scribble out some new numbers above. Now this is still equivalent to 3,504, just kind of broken apart there into different place values. So now I have 14 ones, take away 9 ones. That's going to be 5 ones. 9 tens, take away 7 tens is going to leave me with 2 tens. And 4 hundredths, take away 3 hundredths is going to be 100. And then we do have 3 thousands, take away 1,000. And that's going to leave me with 4,000. So the answer would be then 4,125. Again, the comma is optional in the thousands place. So if you like that comma there, feel free to use it. But some textbooks will not put a comma when you just go out to the thousands place. It's optional. Let's turn our attention to this last example. 5,000 take away 1,379. So we run in trouble with the ones place. I can't borrow from the tens place because there's no tens present. And I can't borrow from the hundreds place either because there's no hundreds present. So I have to move all the way over out to the thousands place. So what I'm going to do is borrow from the thousands place. So I'm going to borrow 1,000 from there. So it's going to leave me with 4,000s. And remember, when I move the 1,000 over to the hundreds place, that's going to represent then 10 hundredths. Because again, 10 hundredths is the same thing as 1,000. In turn, I can now borrow from the hundreds place and move over to the tens place. So I can make the 10 hundredths turn into then 9 hundredths as I borrow 100 from there. When I bring the 100 over to the tens spot, that's going to translate that into 10 tens. 10 tens is the same thing as 100. And then I can borrow from the tens place. The tens place, instead of having 10 tens, I'm going to change that to 9 tens as I'm going to borrow and bring some things over to the one spot. And so I'm going to bring over a 10 as 10 ones. So I can change the 0 to now 10 ones. And that allows me to have enough to go across the board and subtract. So 10 ones take away 9 ones is going to leave me with a 1. 9 tens take away 7 tens is going to be then 2 tens. 9 hundredths take away 3 hundredths is going to be 6 hundredths. And then 4 thousandths take away 1,000 is going to end up being 3,000. So 3,621 would be the answer. So that's how subtraction works. Hopefully you'll get better with that in practicing. So your next job is, it is your turn.